All right, good evening. Gotta check everything, make sure we're fully up and running. Sorry I look weird, I shaved. Kept the mustache though. Running around looking goofy tonight. Hey Creed, how are you doing? First guest, welcome in. Just waiting for that notification, weren't you? Oh. Finally getting back to the Dreadnought. Took last week off doing a painting contest at a local game store. So this is my entry for the painting contest. You've had beer. I need a beer. I have some in the fridge behind me, but I'm not going to partake right now. Because I had to put in a koozie and hide the label. But yeah, so this was my submission. Everybody got the same mini to paint. But that's what I did for the painting contest. A lot of skin on this guy, which I had not ever had to do before. It was fun. There's some others I looked at them because everything goes through Discord. I might get third, but now we're results should be in either Friday or Saturday, so I have to wait for that to come through and finish. But we're definitely getting back to the Dreadnought tonight. Still have lots of work left to go on the sarcophagus. Because of the competition mini, I started wearing gloves while painting. Keeps the paint from rubbing off the edges of the model. I can see all around the top. That's just me touching it. I saw your Dreadnought. I didn't see as much of it as I'd like to, but I've been busy training new people at work, so everything is a mess right now. I will have to go check it out. But I was experimenting with some things. So when I get to the shoulder armor, I've added some chains that hang down off the bottom of the shoulder. Hey, dream big, build small. How are you doing? So hopefully when I get all this painted, he'll have some cool chains hanging off of him. But long ways to go. Still got to finish this section first. And I also have to remember where I was at with painting it. I always love it when, fellow creators like get in the chat and they're like, oh, hey, I know you. Yeah, I know you. You come by, watch my stuff. It's always entertaining. But yes, lots of work left to do on this. I've got this. Thank you for the follow. Dream big, build small. I definitely dream big, and I've been, building small for a while now. Have lots of work left to go on this guy. The Crusade seal. I need to touch up around these vents. I got a little sloppy, but it's fine. Diorama artist and model builder, so the name seemed fitting. Oh yeah. I don't do dioramas. I just paint minis. Currently, just like Creed, I'm working on a Black Templar army. I think he's going to get his painted before I finish mine. Such a slow painter. But last week, a local game store was doing a painting contest. This was the mini that we had to do for that. Had a lot of fun painting on this. So we'll find out next week or this coming weekend how well I did on this. But had to learn some new painting techniques. I'd never done skin that much. I usually just like would do like a base coat flesh tone, then a quick wash over it, then dry brush the original flesh tone. This is actually layered up. Took way too long, but I had a lot of fun. Anyway, enough yammering. Let's get back into the Dreadnought like we're supposed to be painting tonight. Let's see here. I guess I'll start with touching up around those vents. If I remember to put water in my water cup. Take care of that real quick. I think since I've started this army, I've gone through probably 4 of these paint pots of Abaddon Black. It's ridiculous how much I've used. Yes, in some cases less is more, but I'm going for like so much extra detail. Have my car in the service at 8 a.m. Can't be rocking up hungover. I generally wouldn't recommend that. Just like, I drive a truck for a living, so I can't go into work hungover. So I very selectively pick my drinking nights. Well, of course you can, but it is not recommended in polite society. And frankly, society isn't that polite anymore, so, you do you. Whatever feels good in the moment, I guess. Everything's a mess. Make sure I get the excess paint off. And like I say, we're just kind of cleaning up around these vents real quick. Just to get the blue back inside where it belongs. I said I was, just kind of rushing through, finishing that glow. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to see a good work in progress vid. Good buddy. Yeah, I always, at the end of the stream, I always take more pictures and get them posted. So every time I get a little bit more done, there's a updated set of pictures. And if you happen to come by the Twitch page, I also have a Discord link where I share my work in progress pictures, and followers over there can share what they're working on. The wonderful fellow Complicated Gaming is always posting what he's currently working on. I think he's doing some Sailor Moon themed sisters, and they're coming out really good. Well, you have a good night, Creed. Maybe I'll be able to catch you live again sometime. Unfortunately, with new drivers in my truck, I don't have time to watch and listen like I normally do. But once everybody's trained, maybe I'll have more time again. I always try and hop in at least for a few minutes when I see somebody else go live, just to send their video some likes, get them up into a popular stream. Una Minutin, hello mate, love your stream, I'd like to be A fan and a friend. Well, thank you for the follow. Una Minitin? Sorry, not always the best with names. Appreciate the follow over on Twitch. I am live on TikTok and YouTube as well. Just kind of go live everywhere and see who hops in. But thank you for liking the stream and following. If you also do mini content, at the end of my stream, I usually try and go and check out, who followed me. If you have a channel and do similar content, I will probably be giving you a follow back. I'll check out your VODs if you have any. Alright, that should be it for touch-ups for now. There's so much left on this to paint. I typically, like on all my minis, I will do sub-assembly. It just makes it much easier to paint them. A lot of times, you'll have little details, like the seal on the chest of my intercessors will be behind their auto bolt rifle. So I leave their arms disconnected until I get all that painted, and then I'll glue them on there. But in my opinion, if you're doing highly detailed minis, sub-assembly is the way to go. You can just get to all the little bits and bobs that need paint so much easier. All right. Going to switch brushes because I have some metallic work that needs to be done on this guy. Always try and use different brushes for your metallics and your, basic paints. Metallics have little metal flakes in them that tear up your brushes. And I grabbed the wrong paint and I'm shaking up the wrong color. I want Lead Belcher, not Balthazar Gold. Doing silver right now. I've found, like, for the metallics, for your base coat colors, the airbrush metallics by Citadel work really, really well. They're already thinned down quite a bit. You don't have to worry about thinning them down. I mean, you could if you wanted to. I just choose not to, for the most part, because I, don't use an extensive amount. Oh, we're tired, but we're making it. You'd think with the long weekend I would have gotten rested up more, but of course the day before I had to go back to work, I never sleep. Or I guess I should say don't sleep enough. I stay up too late watching TikTok and other stuff. I was being silly at D&D last night. I was wearing sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt, doing the whole Magnum PI look because I'm a goofball. And because it'll grow back, I just entertain myself sometimes. Although at work today, everybody's like, it's a Super Trooper stash. I was like, okay, I'll take that too. But yeah, we're back to the Dreadnought finally. I mean, sometimes that's just the way to go. Like, my beard does not like to grow, like, from, like, here to here, here to here. And so it always looks scraggly. Especially when it's first growing out. Like, to really get a good idea of how your beard's gonna look, you just kind of have to let it go for about 6 months. I did not get the good beard genes from my dad, unfortunately. But it's alright, I make do. Although I would love to have like the big, full, bushy Viking beard, but it's just not in the cards for me, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. Like, the only part that really grows is like right off my chin, and I've had it down to like the middle of my chest before, and it was looking super scraggly, so I ended up cutting it off. But it's fun to do. Like if I was forced to wear like a beard style, I believe it's called a Van Dyke, is the best that I can grow. Just kind of the mustache goatee combo. But it's all good. Crummy beard genetics aside. Trying to remember what I painted on the other side so I can get this one to match. So many tiny details. And I'm probably doing this in the wrong order, but it's all good. What do I want to do with those? I'm gonna do these a gray and do a wash over them. Let's see. Let's do a green. Green on those inner tubes. I don't have very much green on this model yet. Why not? Gonna be switching back and forth between paintbrushes 80 bajillion times. Tried out some of this new, was it bold titanium white on the contest mini. Really helped with the glow effect on the cracks. I just wish I had more time to clean them up. But it's all good. I did have more time, I just didn't take it. I submitted it where I had, at the point that I had gotten to, and called it good. I mean, it wasn't for like a golden dragon or anything, so I'm sure it's fine. Golden Demon, Golden Dragon. I don't even know what that contest is called. I don't pay enough attention. Because it is currently beyond my skill level, as I get my head in the way of what I'm painting. But this Pro Acryl Titanium White is an awesome, awesome color. Like, I've seen other people use it. Finally took the chance on it for this painting contest. And it is going to be going on a lot of minis as a base layer for a glow at this point. Really digging the Vallejo white. I haven't really tried Vallejo paints yet. I mean, I've just used Citadel so much for so many things. I've just always kind of stuck with it. So now that I'm doing more painting again and participating in these painting contests, I'm trying like all sorts of different new paints and stuff. I'd never used speed paints before doing these contests, and I'm kind of kicking myself now for using them in this latest one, because that was the main color my stone was a speed paint, and I wish I would have used a traditional paint, because trying to go back in around those cracks and stuff to put the glow back, I wouldn't have been able to match the paint very well, and so I should have just used regular paints on it. But I mean, that's what these contests do for me. It's a learning experience. Gets me out of my comfort zone, trying new things, which is why I enjoy doing them. And so hopefully I did well enough this time that I actually, get in the top 3. I think I've got a good chance to get in the top 3 this time. I was a little disappointed with my last one. That I don't know where I ended up ranking overall, but was not in the top 3 for the intermediate category. I don't think I'm ready for the advanced category. And after seeing some of the submissions for this painting contest, I know for a fact I'm not ready for the advanced category with the guys that paint at this local game store. But it's all good. I will get there eventually. Through lots of practice and trial and error, I will improve my skills over time, and eventually get to the skill level that I think I should be. And every time you paint, you get a little bit better. It's just that repetitiveness of sticking with it and trying new things. And eventually, like I said, you'll get to that point where you think you should be. Alright, anything else I want to have a bright glowy color? Yes, no, maybe? I don't think so. Alright, flipping back and forth between brushes constantly all night tonight. Just because I'm doing all sorts of different stuff. That's a contrast. That one's a technical. I think that one's more yellow. So, green. We're going for bright green dots right now. And a couple of green tubes. Just for giggles. I'll take a couple of coats with the green to get it the color that we want it. But using your contrast paints over a super bright white just makes them look so good if you're going for a real bright looking color. And also because it's not entirely smooth, it kind of gives a, moving liquid effect. Or if you're using like the blue, kind of a powered effect. But contrast paints are definitely fun. Even if they do take a little bit more effort to use. I was worried I'm gonna break this stupid Crusade seal off because it's just like glued on in one little point and it flexes every time you touch it. But definitely gives you a cool effect if you're trying to do like bright buttons and whatnot. Hey Horde, how's it going? How are you doing tonight? Welcome in. Finally getting back to the Dreadnought after a stressful week of being outside of our comfort zone. Doing all right. I said finally getting back to my Dreadnought, which has been languishing in sub-assembly limbo while I was doing the contest mini, which hopefully will have the results Friday, but they said Friday or Saturday for the results on that. Thank you for the likes. Much appreciated. Alright, I think I got the hoses nice and green. Alright, where's my special blue that I use all the time? This Frostheart contrast, awesome for blue glowing effects. Works great. Very much recommend it. Just don't knock it over and spill it. That would be bad. A little too much on there. Even though you're doing a big scary dreadnought doesn't mean you can't add a little bit of bright colors to it. Okay. Get a little bit of our Blood Angel red. Might end up changing this for the Scarlet Sun's red, but we'll see. Because it's a little bit darker. Nah, that works. That's working well. It's just bright enough that you can see all those little buttons and whatnot. You're gonna see me swapping back and forth between brushes a lot tonight as I just kind of constantly change my mind on what I want to work on painting. All right. Let's get in here with some Balthazar gold and get the right brush for this. Not my regular brush. All right. So just up where these tubes are connecting, just for a little color variation. Trying to keep my head out of the way, because my favorite thing to do is stick my big ass head right in front of the camera so nobody can see what I'm working on. Especially when we're getting all these super tight little nooks and crannies. It's great. Painting little details that no one will ever see. That's the way to go. Just vibing to the music. Like the music I'm listening to tonight is by Jordan Beats. Found some of their music. I don't know if it's a him or her, but found their music doing TikTok videos. One popped up. I really liked it. Went and searched up see what I could find about the artist, and they allow their music to be used for streaming, which I am very appreciative of, because while I do have some musical talent, I just don't have the time to make a bunch of music. And I'm always appreciative of creators that allow their music to be used by streamers. And I vibe very well with this while painting. I think it fits much better than the synthwave that I typically listen to for the painting. There we go. Got some fancy bronze couplings on there. Coming together nicely. Alrighty. I'm trying to remember to put my paints back where I picked them up from. Last week I was having an existential crisis because I couldn't find my Mournfang Brown, because I'd set it behind something and like looked for it like 57 times on my last stream. I was getting very frustrated because I use it for all of my leather and couldn't find it. And the contest mini I did has like leather on the belt, the bracers. I use the brown. There's all hair tie back there. Wait, granted, Mournfang Brown isn't my only brown that I use, but I was a little frustrated that I had to settle for the Gothor Brown, which still makes amazing looking leather, by the way. I was like, I guess I'll use that because I can't find my favorite paint. But it's all good. That thing came together very well. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I think I'm in the top 3 for the intermediate class, but I'm not sure. I should find out this weekend. Or by this weekend. And we're just gonna dab a little Agrax Earthshade on there, right at the ends of the tubes, so it kind of looks like it melds down in there real well. This kind of helps give it that finished look. Covers up any slight gaps in the color. So you can see like the one that has the Earthshade on it as opposed to the one that doesn't. Like I said, just finishes it up a little bit. I am currently working on a Brutalis Dreadnought. I think I've gotten far enough into it. I usually have a little picture like down in the corner over here of what I'm working on, but I thought, oh, I'm far enough into it, I've done enough streams of it that, you know, people will know what I'm working on. Although I did take a week off for another project, and I'm waiting on the results from a local game store painting contest for that. But currently working on the sarcophagus section. These are the legs. I've got them done. I typically do sub-assembly on all my models, so it takes me longer to paint them because I can get into all the teeny tiny little details and get everything painted as opposed to like just surface level stuff. I don't know, it's just my weird infatuation with if there's a detailed surface, I have to put paint on it. So this takes me forever to do. But I enjoy every minute of it. All right. And we are going to grab some Eshin Gray. To get those hoses that are hanging down. Because to me they look like, you know, corrugated hoses. And see, I keep going back and forth comparing size. I didn't get my silver far enough down on that one as I did on the other one. But it's all good. So I have to remember which paints I'm putting where. Because when I go back and do my edge highlighting, I use slightly different colors. And the Eshin Gray is, you know, fairly dark. It's usually what I use in the joints behind the knees and elbows on my Space Marines. But I figure it'll work real well for these hoses. But just very carefully getting into all those little details along there. And, for like something like this hose piece doesn't have to have absolute coverage on it. Just enough that you can see like the color difference. From the Abaddon black that covers the rest of the mini, because we do black Templars on this channel as well as whatever else we feel like painting. But the army that I'm currently painting for myself is a black Templar army because I think the minis look super cool. You see the new Titus model. I've seen it, but I thought about picking it up, but since I don't play blueberries, and I'll always call Space Marines blueberries, or Ultramarines blueberries, I went ahead and passed on it. I might still pick one up eventually and paint it if it's still available in the future. It's just, I started this Templar army back in October, and because I do such a high level of detail on my minis, and paint in the traditional heavy metal style while I'm doing them, they just take a long time to paint, so I don't have a lot of extra time for little side projects. The only thing that I make extra time for right now is a local game store. Every couple of months they have a take-home painting contest. Basically I use that to break up painting the Templars and push myself to try new painting methods and see how it comes out. This last one definitely took me out of my comfort zone because I paint power armor, not a whole lot of skin, and this mini has a ton of skin on it, so I had to learn how to paint skin to paint this thing. Had a great time doing it. I think it turned out well, but it was just definitely different from what I'm used to. Like sometimes with those contests, there also be a theme. Like the one I did before that is this dapper little owl bear, and the theme for it was pastels. So that was a huge change from black power armor. But again, still very fun to paint. Okay, let's make up for our mist section real quick. Get that lead belcher back out. Water on our brush so it quits frizzing out all over the place. Thank you for the likes, Esco. Much appreciated. I think it's going slowly. I'm finally getting back to it after taking the last week off. But all of my minis go very slowly. I need to get back over to your page and check out what you've been working on. You got some really cool minis. Might have to steal some ideas from you. Yeah, I'm having so much fun painting these Templars, I don't ever really feel like I need to take a break. But it is good to, get out of that, constant doing the same thing over and over again, like I do with the Templars. But last week was spent on this guy for a local game store contest. Super happy with how he turned out, but I'm no expert on skin, and so I had to completely learn how to do skin when you're just actually painting it instead of base coat, wash, dry brush, which is how I normally did it. But that was too big to just throw a wash on. But learned some new things, had some fun doing it. So I feel more confident attempting something like that again. Skin tones can be a little rough. Especially getting them to come out and look natural. Like I don't have a good example on my desk anymore, one that didn't really come out right, but all the different, like there's 3 different layers of paint on there, no washes. I think it came out looking great, but oh man, that took some effort. But it's still a good time. It's a magic skin tone. Got to make it look, make close look real. That did come out good. Better than what I can do. Yeah, I kept watching like different YouTube videos trying to figure out what they recommended. And there's, all these, different paint brands, and I'm so used to Citadel. I'm like, I need Citadel paint colors because that's what I use. And so finally I found a video that's like, start with, this XV88 for a base, and then Cadian Flesh, and then Kislev Flesh, and you just kind of layer it up, and it came out great. So I'm happy with the results. We'll see how the judging goes. I should find out on that one either Friday or excuse me, either Friday or Saturday. Thank you for the follow, Joe. Much appreciated. Because I forget to mention this all the time. Black Templar colors. Yep, he is going to be a Black Templar. Already have the legs done. Just kind of working my way up the model. I think I started my Templar army back in October. I've gotten a Crusader squad done. Grab one of them. But that's how my initiates came out. But it's found a YouTube video by Duncan Rhodes, and I'm following his paint scheme, and like these have turned out so nice. I'm so happy with these guys. I'm be excited to finally get them finished and get them on the tabletop to play a game. But I have a long way to go. But I've got the Impulsor done from the Combat Patrol and the Crusader Squad. Although when I built this Crusader Squad, I messed up and built the Sword Brother as another initiate. So now I need another Combat Patrol to fix that mistake. And I was planning on running a 20-man blob anyway, so it all works out in the end. Sitting here just rambling instead of painting. But it is time to get some Nuln Oil on this thing in a few places. If I can get the stupid lid to stay open. That's my biggest complaint, or my biggest complaint about Citadel paints is the pots and then the lids on the pots. They're not user friendly. Keep water in your brush. Helps things flow better. especially when you're doing a wash. But yeah, I've gotten lots of little bits and bobs painted on this guy, and he's ready for a quick no-nail wash. Yeah, Citadel definitely needs to transfer over to droppers. I've picked up some army painter war paints or whatever they're called, and using the dropper style bottles is so much nicer. I can just drop some onto my wet palette over here and just keep going instead of digging a little out with my paintbrush and then smearing it on the palette, dig some more out, smear it on the palette. It's annoying. And Pro Acryl paints. I finally picked up the titanium white, Pro Acryl titanium white. It is amazing as a base color for like glowing tubes and stuff. Like all these on the bottom are the titanium white by Pro Acryl. The ones up top are white scar with contrast paint over them, and they're about equal. It's just the titanium white's much easier to work with because it just drops out of the bottle. Thank you for all the likes, much appreciated. Definitely always helps more people to come in and find the stream. Though there are also options for places to watch if you are so inclined. I do stream at the same time on Twitch and YouTube. Over on my Twitch page, there is a permanent Discord link. I do have a Discord for folks to come over and share what they're working on, and that's where I post all of my pictures of my progress pictures while I'm going, and finished models as I get them finished. I do need to update it though. I'm not always on top of it as best I should be. But it is the same username on Twitch. If you're watching me on TikTok full screen, the Twitch address should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And on the About Me tab, or About tab, there's a banner that says Discord. The banner is actually a clickable link that takes you straight to the Discord server, if you would like to go check that out. I do try to remember to shout that out every once in a while, but most of the time I forget about it. Alright, what else do I want to do on this thing? You do the leather handle. You do that. A white bit at the front. I say white, it's currently gray. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I just gotta like spin the model over 57 times and try and remember what I still need to paint. or what I want to try and paint next. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and switch things up. Where does this go? That goes over there. I'm trying to remember, put your paints back where you got them from so you're not losing stuff all over the place. Let's go ahead and get this Crusade seal painted up. I think I'm pretty close to being done with the back of this. Alright, let's get some corn red out. Don't need a whole lot. And as usual, we are going to thin our paint. Wipe off some of the excess. Try not to get my head in front of the camera like is my favorite thing to do. But yeah, the red Crusade seals on Templars just, I think, adds so much to the model. That, you know, bright flare color. That's why I made sure to add plenty of them on here. But making sure we get a nice full base coat on there, because we use our Blood Angels red contrast to go over them. Kind of darkens it up a little bit. Then we go back in and do some highlights with what is this? Evil Sun Scarlet. End up with some really nice looking Crusade seals like that. And so you can thank Duncan Rhodes for the colors on my minis. I watched his video on YouTube on how to paint Black Templars. I watched quite a few videos on how to paint Black Templars, and his color scheme was the best in my opinion. And I see folks on Instagram and Reddit also following his paint scheme because, I mean, it just looks so good. I suppose, as usual, if I miss somebody's message, I'm sorry. I try and look up at the screen every once in a while. I don't think anybody said anything for a while, but on TikTok, I don't get notifications like I do for Twitch and YouTube. I guess I should say for Twitch. Because Twitch is the only one that seems to work with, I think Chatty is the program that I use, so I don't miss messages. Hey Toast, how's it going? We are doing alright. We're finally getting back to our Dreadnought. Since we finished painting the contest mini, we should get results on that either Friday or Saturday to see how I measure up against the local competition, which there are some very good painters at this local game store. I think some of them need to reevaluate their skill level. We had one in the novice category that was on par with the advanced level guys. Like, there's no way you're in the novice category. But, you know, it's one of those, you know, you need to know, do you know how many are in the intermediate division? I believe 5 people entered in intermediate. Or at least, if more than 5 entered, only 5 posted their finished models on the Discord. But it's basically you take your pictures, you submit them on Discord, and you wait for the judging. But there were 5 in the intermediate category. And I'm thinking about, like, when they make the announcement, you know, how everybody did. Maybe post the top 3 when they announce. And then, you know, if I don't place in the top 3, ask where I fell in the contest. See if they'll tell me that. Because I usually only say, like, the top 3. Because I would like to be able to say, okay, well, you know, out of 5, I wasn't the worst. But I think there were 5 in the novice, 5 in intermediate, and then 6 in advanced. I think it was the final breakdown on the participants. All right. Corn red is done. Swap brushes yet again to do our wash. I say wash, it's a contrast. Same difference, in my opinion. As in, that's how I use it, is as a wash over my base paint. Hey McCrag, thank you for the likes. Appreciate you hopping in. How are your projects going? Yes, the Dreadnought is finally back. He is still working on awakening from his slumber. Everything is submitted. They take about a week to judge everything. It's all kind of done by pictures on Discord. So they said next Friday or Saturday they'll have the results up. But definitely not disappointed with how this guy turned out. For having never done a bust before and never having done that much skin before, I'm pleased with the results. Okay. But I am happy to be back to working on the Dreadnought. I've had way too much fun with this thing. I think this is one of the absolute coolest minis for a Black Templar army. So I can't wait to see what it's going to look like finished. I've also been doing some other experimentation off screen just to see how it would come out. But I added some chain to the bottom of the shoulder pad that'll hang down. I think that looks really cool. I need to do the other one. And I got to paint over this big blob of super glue and baking soda. I went with the tickle claws. And then I said once we get all that painted, I got the chains hanging down because Black Templars have to have extra chains on their minis because that's just what they do. But I still have the other shoulder pad to do. See there. The other shoulder pad I still need to add chains on. But this was a fun experiment. I think it turned out well. And I need to come up with, some other decorations. Meltas. Meltas for the Templars. This is very much an up close, in your face, keeping with like the Templars are a melee themed army. Got to go with a melee themed Dreadnought. So up close, in your face, just gonna tear you up. As it should be. So, the Dreadnought will be making plenty of toast. And maybe you'll finally have your answer of who burnt my toast. It was my Dreadnought. All right. Now for some highlights on the Crusade seal. Thin your paints. Remove excess water. And just kind of anywhere there's like a little raised edge on the folds and whatnot. And of course our edges all the way down. Just give it that little bit of extra depth on the mini. Gives a very cool effect. It's always amazing how, you know, the tiniest amount of paint just adds so much detail on these models. Get a little bit on the bottom side too. And there you are. Nice fancy ribbon hanging off of his back. And one of the other things I finally picked up for this latest contest was little army painter mixing balls that you drop down into your paint, which has helped my Corax White get so much smoother. Because it is one of the roughest paints to work with. Ends up super chalky looking, like you can sort of see it on the knee, kind of that chalkiness to the Corax White. Fortunately, when you clear coat it, it helps smooth that out. And because these are ones that I'm going to be touching all the time, when I do get to the clear coat stage, I do like a high gloss clear coat because it dries harder to protect the mini better. And then I'll go over it a second time with a matte varnish so the minis aren't super shiny. Because that just looks obnoxious when you got a bunch of super shiny minis on the table. But see how nice and smooth that looks now? Corax White is always one of the... Like, if I had to grab that pot, I was always like, ugh, it's never going to mix up very well. Super annoying to use. But with that little mixing ball in there, it definitely helps. And we just get our litanies on here of our promises to defend the Imperium for the glory of the God Emperor. Make sure you keep plenty of water in your brush while you're doing this to help the paint flow off nice and easy. Just barely squiggling along, barely touching the mini. All the way down this super long ribbon. There we go. Got our nice fancy Crusade seal on there. Now we just have to grab our Sycorax bronze and make sure it's bolted on there properly. And get our little dot of paint for the top of that stud. There you go. And because we have it out, do some highlights on this gear back here. Just welcome back, McCraig. Oh. Teeny tiny dabs of paint, brighten that gear up a little bit. That's probably about as best I can do for a close-up. Oh, it's not flawless. The camera does hide some sins. But I appreciate the vote of confidence. Oh, yes it is. But we all need a little chaos from time to time. Alright, let's hit the tops of these bolts real quick. Miniature I'm most proud to own isn't even painted. I kind of have a similar experience with that. I have both Grimaldus and Helbrecht sitting on the shelf and haven't even touched them yet. Like, those are going to be amazing to get painted. And I can't wait to do them. But I have so much other stuff that I need to get to. And basically I'm using everything else as practice before I get to those. Got the tyrannical war vets for the Ultramarines. Not entirely sure what those minis are. I will have to look them up. But I'm sure they're very cool. brightening things up back here. Why? Because it's fun. And don't forget the forehead on the skull. And the bottoms of the eye sockets. There we go. Make that shine up a little bit. Well, see, that's what you start on next. And Templars just have the better models. But I suppose you could say I'm a little biased. I think the Emperor's Champion. Oh, that's alright. I have one of those too. To be honest, the Emperor's Champion is what sealed the deal for me to start the Templars. That is such an amazing sculpt on that mini. But that's why I've been working my way through the combat patrol and doing some other stuff before I get to Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion and Grimaldus, because ones that I want to look flawless, yeah, those are the minis that I want to look very, very good. Like I've said it before on stream, like when it comes to the day where I finally get to drop these on the table across from my opponent, I just want there to be that audible, damn, those are some good looking minis. That looks so much better than just the base coat that I had on there. All right. Stepping ever closer to getting this thing done. But I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to keep slowly working my way around the model. Looks good there, then I guess you got to do it everywhere. Yeah, I mean... I don't know if I'm going to paint silver everywhere, but... I mean, I just got to keep working around the mini, adding all the little extra details as I go. But definitely happy with how this is turning out so far. All right. Let's grab this little spot of Corax white that I need to do, that I've been putting off. A huge area, but needs to be done. I was looking at a Reddit post earlier. It's like, Corax white is so hard to work with. Is there a good recommendation for a replacement out there? And like all the other recommendations were like these super bright, super clean whites. It's like, that's not what Corax white is. It's just a slightly dingy white. But on the black, or alongside the black, it's a very clean looking whitish color. Even though on my palette you can see that is a clean white, that is Corax white. It's a very gray color in comparison. And it's so hard not to go cross-eyed painting fine details sometimes. Trying to get these edges blocked in. Start getting double vision. Because I'm wearing my actual glasses instead of my old man magnification glasses. Because I'm in my eyes need a break from contacts week. Because I'm a horrible example of how someone should wear contacts. I put them in for a month and leave them and hope for the best. Or I guess I should say 3 weeks, not an entire month. But one of the methods I use to get fairly smooth Corax white is I'll paint in one direction and try and get as good coverage as I can get. And then as that dries, paint the opposite direction, or the perpendicular direction, and I seem to get a fairly smooth finish when it's all said and done. But no, it is not one of the easiest colors to paint with. It can be very frustrating at times. Especially when you're painting over such a dark base color. So it might take you an extra couple of layers to get good, proper coverage. Which is why my minis are typically primed in gray for the spots that I do have to use the Corax white. Just helps it cover a little bit better. I say we just kind of do the back and forth, try and keep it as smooth as possible, and usually end up with a pretty good looking color on there. Not 100% smooth, but close enough. Then go back in with our Abaddon Black and do little touch-ups as needed if we got a little wild. But I think that's got it covered. I'm satisfied with that. And yes, ever since that competition, I've been wearing rubber gloves or nitrile gloves, whatever you want to call them. Because my hands do sweat a lot, and all these raised edges, I keep wiping the paint off of them. It's very frustrating. I want my paint to stay on my Mini, not get wiped off every time I flip it around. But a lot of it's fine. Like on this top edge, I'm going to be doing edge highlights around there anyway, so no one's really going to see that. All right. For this little tread step, I need my regular lead belcher. Because I do have like the regular lead belcher and then like an airbrush lead belcher. If I'm doing dry brushing, I grab the regular because it's not as thin down. A little bit of water in the brush. This isn't going to take a whole lot. I'm just trying to grab those little treads. Sorry, I'm getting my head in the way as usual. Alright, I'm gonna head out. Have a good night. You too, Burnt. Who burnt my toast? You have a good night. Get some sleep. Have pleasant dreams. Hopefully there's not a Dreadnought chasing you in them. That would be very bad. But have a good night. Thanks for coming and hanging out for a while. All right. I think we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start doing our edge highlighting. I just need to finish this little hatch piece. To grab my bright silver again, because hydraulics are always a bright silver. Hey, hot dog, how are you doing? Thank you, sir. Having a great time getting this done, and I think it is turning out very nicely. I'm happy with it. It's one of those things where it's like you you question yourself whether or not, am I actually capable of doing this? And then you go in there and you get it done, and it's like, yes, I was capable of doing this, and it looks amazing. I'm having one of those moments right now. Like the first time I had to change out the clutch cylinder in the transmission in my pickup truck, because that stupid thing used to go out all the time. The first time I had to do it, I wasn't sure if I'd get it back together properly, and didn't want to like ruin my truck, but got everything put back together and reconnected and started it up and drove it around. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Which is a little ridiculous to be that worried about it, since I was trained as a mechanic in the Marines. Alright. Do a nice bright silver pin on either side. That does not go there. You go over there. So trying to keep in the habit of putting my paints back in their little spots so I don't lose them constantly. Like I said, last time I was streaming, I was losing my mind because I couldn't find my Mornfang Brown. I was getting very upset. Like, where did my paint pot go? I used this for all of my leather, and now I can't find it. I'm getting very, very upset. And then finally broke down, used Gothor Brown for the leather that I needed. And then my wife walks in my office like, oh, it's over here. Like, really? Because I didn't put it back where it was supposed to go. And after that painting contest, I finally spent some time getting my office cleaned up again, because it was in dire need. I had stuff everywhere. But now the trick is keep everything where it belongs and not let it get to that point again. Too much water in the brush. So I keep looking up to make sure my head's not in the camera, because that is my favorite thing to do, apparently. There's a puppy searching my office for something. Actually just comes down here and checks on me every once in a while. What are you doing? I want to go play frisbee and you're sitting in here painting little pieces of plastic. So boring. All right. That is done. Where is the brush that I've been using all night? Because I never put my brushes back exactly where I intend to. That is what I'm the absolute worst about. And now that I know where my Mornfang Brown is, I'm going to use some. I need such a teeny tiny amount for this handle, it's ridiculous. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use that teeny tiny amount of paint on our mini to make it look super fancy. So there we go, we got our little first step on our little handle there. Put it back so we don't lose it. Grab our wash brush and our Agrax Earthshade. Just a real quick, simple wash. Get it flowing down in the little cracks on there. And now we wait a minute while that dries. Hurry up and dry, paint. I have more work to do. Okay. Grab our Scrag Brown. For once again, a teeny tiny amount of painting. Make sure we're just getting a very, very fine line of paint. And just grabbing right at the edge of those ridges. Then when it's all said and done, you've got a nice little leather wrapped handle. And at this point, take a quick look. Yeah, I want those fins up top to be a silver color. Back to the dry brush real quick. That looks so much better. So much better. Okay. And so, you know, teeny tiny little things, you know, small details. Let's see here real quick. I'm pretty sure all that gets covered up, exception of those. Alrighty. And now for the monotony of edge highlighting. So we'll get started on that and see how far we get this evening. I'm going to start off with some Dark Reaper for our first edge highlight. See how far we get with that. Back away. Put you away. Set you there. Again, make sure you've thinned your paint down fairly well. That should work, and then we'll just start, grabbing all of our edges. This is our first round of edge highlighting, so these ones can be a little bit thicker. Just kind of using the edge of the brush, just going around the hard edges of the mini. Now up here, where I don't have to worry about getting extra paint anywhere, I can be a little bit more nonchalant about it. But when I get to the front side, I'll have to be a little more careful. And again, this is kind of the heavy metal style. I just like the way it looks. So that's what we do. And as we go around the mini, with multiple layers of edge highlighting, we'll get a little bit finer lines each time using more precision brushes and better quality brushes as well. So right now we're just trying to get that initial edge highlight done. So you can start seeing the edges of the armor plates a little bit better. And around here we have to be quite a bit more careful because we got so much detailed stuff near it. And we don't want to mess up those details.
Woo!
Oh.
I'm leaving the big dog with you.
Huh?
I'm leaving the big dog with you.
Okie dokie. Hi, Bruce. I get the big puppy now. And again, this is one of those, make sure you got plenty of water in your brush to help the paint continue to flow off of it. so you can get those good lines done for your edge highlighting. And be very careful on the inside corners. But you want to make sure you get those as well. And like I said, I'm sorry if you're joining right now. We're in the monotonous part of starting our multiple rounds of edge highlighting, which is not as entertaining to watch. But it is what it is. But just very carefully grabbing little bits of highlight here and there. So you can see the one side has a few edge highlights done as opposed to the other, which is still all our base Abaddon black. And this first round is a little bit darker. Thank you for the likes, Johnny. Much appreciated. But as we progress, we will get a little bit lighter each time. So we've got good definition around the armor plates. And they'll be much, much easier to see. And some of these I don't know if they're even going to be visible when I glue the arms on, but we're going to hit them anyway. Just to make sure we have our bases covered. Okay, hopefully I'm not... Yep, that's fine. I always worry sometimes I get too much water in the brush, which makes the lines a little bit too wide. But we're looking alright. But this is just one of those parts of painting that just takes a while to do. Yep, hate edge highlights. I'd be dry brushing. Yep. It's a lot quicker, but not as neat and accurate. Ah! I put a big blob of paint right where I don't want it. I guess it wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to do multiple rounds of it. Sloppy when you're dealing with clothing or soft surfaces, yeah. Most definitely. I'm both looking forward to and dreading doing a cape at the same time. Because I know there's like certain parts of the cape that need different layers of paint on it. I guess it's mostly because I haven't like really watched a video on how to do it. Because it's like I've done so many of these tabards and the tabards look awesome. But it's like a cape is completely different in my headspace. Ah, there's so many tiny little angles and shit on this guy. Pardon my French. And this is why edge highlighting sucks on vehicles, because there's so much of it. And especially doing this stuff down here where no one's ever going to see that this is edge highlighted. It doesn't even matter. But I'm still going to do it. Touch that spot up a little bit, which is fine. I have the paint available to do it. But it's just obnoxious to have to. Oh, and it's always rough when you get a little bit of gunk in the brush from the acrylics, because that's their favorite thing to do, is gunk up the tip of your brush and not let the paint flow off. At least I got some good music to jam to while I do this. I'm so scared I'm gonna break this Crusade seal off the back of the model. Because every time I move it around, I'm pinching it and squeezing it. And I feel it flexing under my hand. And as usual, I'm sorry for getting quiet when I'm doing fine details. But man, the edge highlights make everything pop right. Well, I'm glad I can assist with background noise, Johnny. But like I said, you know, at least I got some good music going. That always helps. I've said it before. I always appreciate, music creators that allow, penniless streamers such as myself to utilize their music for background noise while streaming. Came across this music making TikToks and found out that they allow their music to be used for streaming, and it's probably going to be my background music from here on out, because in my opinion it definitely fits the vibe of miniature painting. Something called Jordan Beats. And my last couple of TikToks have used their sound. And they're on Spotify and YouTube and all that. I just pay for Spotify Premium. So I get to listen to it ad-free. Which is part of the reason why I'm a penniless streamer. Because I pay for stupid subscriptions, like Spotify. Not actually a penniless streamer. I have a very good real job that lets me, spend money on tiny plastic soldiers. So I can't complain. Along with all my other sundry, expensive hobbies. Like motorcycles and pew-pews. Yep. Yes, lots of pew-pew. Or I guess in the Warhammer world, more DACA. Always need more DACA. Yes, DACA does get very pricey very quickly. Especially depending on your flavor. They got some of those, Gucci seeds that don't fit normal implements that do fancy things. And like I said, I have too many hobbies and they're all expensive, unfortunately. And I don't play the lottery, so I'll never win. And the chances of me, just miraculously becoming independently wealthy are non-existent. Oh, I mean, I will occasionally mention it, but I don't go into like extensive detail. You never know when the ATF is watching your stream and want to know what kind of implements you have. But in all seriousness, I am not that paranoid. I know there are people out there who are, but they take that to a whole other level. I don't really collect retro games. I just have them lying around somewhere. I don't remember what closet they're in. Or at which parent's house they, may or may not still exist in. With the exception of my Commodore 64, I know exactly where that is. I want to talk about retro gaming. Kids these days don't know how good they have it. Like every time I wanted to play a game on the Commodore 64, it's like you'd start loading the game and it'd say like, please wait 5 minutes for your little pixelated mess. That was so much fun back in the day. Because that's what we had, and we didn't know any better. Hello, cubes, that's what we had. Yep. Back in my day, we had ColecoVision and Radio Shack. Like, shut up, old man. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the early days of video games. I remember a game on the original PlayStation, Jet Moto, where you flew around on like this rocket motorcycle thing, and it was like, oh, the graphics are so cool. I found a copy of that a few years ago, went back and played it. I'm like, wow, we thought this was cool. It's so bad. Like games today, I mean, you can almost like smell what's coming off the screen. It's ridiculous. Oh, it cracks me up seeing like Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids on like TikTok where they're Gen X parents, elder millennial parents give them a Walkman, and they're just absolutely amazed that there's music on the other side of the tape. And like there's only like 10 15 songs on an audio cassette. Yeah, the Commodore 64 that I have, I still have the audio cassette recorder that you could save your programs to and play from a cassette tape. The computer would load it up. All right, that is round 1 of edge highlighting done. That only took half an hour. Yeah, I can't wait till this thing's done. I'm so happy with how it's turning out. I think I went back and added up all. Of course, I stop and talk every once in a while, but went back and added up like all the streams that have gone into putting this model together was like 9 hours, and painting I'm already like 15 hours into one mini. It's just so time consuming, but the end result is what makes it all worth it. Like when you spend 8 or 10 hours, you know, just painting one guy, and that's your finished result, it's so worth it. And I know you can use like speed paints and slap chop and zenithal highlights and blah 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 blah, whatever, you know, faster painting method you want, but nothing beats like the old school, just do the brush work. Looks so good. Okay, move up to our second edge highlight of Dawnstone, and repeat everything that we just did. This one will be slightly thinner than the last one. And I always have to remember what color we're currently using so we don't accidentally dip into the previous color. Because that's always very frustrating, you know, having to stop and rinse your brush out. Not that it takes that long. It's just, oh, I was making good progress, and then I dip my brush into the wrong paint. Hey, when I forget my paint recipes and start the guessing game all over. I know how that goes, but fortunately the paint recipe that I'm following was from a YouTube video, so if I ever forget, I can go look it up again, because it wasn't my original creation. So thank you, Duncan Rhodes, for making that YouTube video however many years ago. I much appreciate it. You have helped this Black Templar army immensely. I'm my own paintbrush. Be right back, got a stretch, been cleaning mold lines and my back is not pleased. I have had those nights. And I will have many more. Because this army is nowhere near finished. Although it would be nice to get this section of the dread done so I can move on to doing the arms. Because that's when you get into the fun stuff. Oh, keep going. Must keep going. Making very good progress. See, right here is the best part of painting the mini, because now the folks watching can start seeing, you know, in almost exact detail, like everything on the mini, that it's been so dark for so long. Hey, Third Designs, or 3R Designs, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you stopping in and watching. Yes, this is for my personal Templar army. I paint entirely too slow to try and do commissions. Ozil 417, welcome in. Yes, that's great. Edge highlighting is just one of my weaknesses. Thank you for the thank you for the follow, Ozil. I appreciate it. It's just one of those things. It just takes practice. My first edge highlights looked rough, and a little bit of it is finding the right brush to do. Yeah, that's how I was. You get too much water in your paint, and you get too much paint in your brush, and it just bleeds all over the place. And just And then you get super frustrated and super discouraged. You're like, I'm never going to get this. And then you just keep working at it, keep working it out. I said, finding that right brush that works for you. And eventually it just all comes together and clicks. I mean, see, even that's not, super clean, super fancy. I have my blowouts. But I just roll with it. It just kind of makes the edge look a little worn. Not as pristine and perfect, which adds to the effect of the mini. And you always have more paint, so you can go in and push that edge highlight back. Hey, thank you for the follow, Sanguinor, on TikTok. Just got a new Winsor Newton Series 7, so it should help out a bit. Well, I hope so. I'm not super familiar with brushes. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Most of my brushes are Hobby Lobby specials. Just these super cheap Master's Touch. They're like $3 at Hobby Lobby. They work well enough. I do have a couple of fancy ones. This is a Monument Pro Sable. So this is how I do my super fine details. Yeah, the Monument Sable. I bought this to be able to do eyes with on the minis. Because I cannot figure out how to get eyes painted properly on a mini to save my life. And even now, I finally just decided it's not going to work for me. So I'm going to cheat. And I use Micron pens. I just bought a new batch of them not that long ago. But Micron pens have a super, super fine point on them. You just get in there. Into the face of your mini and dot the eyes. I don't know if I can show you better on this one or not. Don't know how to move this. Nope, can't get it. But yeah, the Micron pens are from Hobby Lobby. These ones I bought from Joann's because they're going out of business. But they sell the exact same pen at Hobby Lobby. So make use of them. To do eyes, I'll paint the whites of the eyes, paint the face around it, do some washes, and then the last thing I'll do is go back in and dot the eyes with that Micron pen. And that is how I do my eyes. And it seems to work out fairly well. Because you do all that prep work, you line up your brush, and by the time you tap your brush to the eye, your paint's dry. It's so frustrating. So that's my little cheat for doing eyes. And I'm going to have to push some of these edge highlights back out where they belong with some black paint because I'm getting all over the place. That's what happens 3 hours into a stream and staring at these tiny little things for that long. I am making a mess all over this damn thing right now. But that's why I keep a little bit of extra paint on the palette. So this kind of jagged edge of paint, especially right here, I can go in and just very carefully cover some of that back up and push the edge of the highlight back over to the edge where it's supposed to be. Got one right here as well. So just little cheats to keep your lines where you want them. I guess not really cheats, but tips on how to fix them. Kururamu Unit 40K, thank you for the follow on TikTok. So yes, I am live on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. For who knows why. Yes. Greater possibility of visibility, I guess. I appreciate everybody coming in and watching. If you're watching on Twitch, I do have a Discord server if you want to look at minis that other people have shared or are working on. It's very small at this point. I try and remember to shout it out a couple of times. So if you go over to my Twitch page on the About tab, thank you, Ben Spellman, for the follow on TikTok. If you go over to my Twitch page, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen on TikTok, on the About page, there is a banner that says Discord. That banner is a permanent link to the Discord server, and you are more than welcome to hop in over there and share whatever projects you're working on, or see whatever projects other folks have shared on the Discord. That is available to anyone who is interested. I'm a very small streamer. This is my hobby. I do this for fun, so I'm not going to paywall anything just to get attention. That's dumb. But if you're interested or inclined to do so, it is available to anyone who wants to check it out. And I hope to see you guys over there. And I know Complicated Gaming, if he's still watching, really likes sharing his Sailor Moon Sisters of Battle that he's working on, which are very well done and very neat. Oh, really? I'll have to update that then. I don't know why it does that. It's supposed to be a permanent link, and every once in a while it breaks. I will try and get that fixed after the stream tonight, which isn't going to be for too much longer, unfortunately, because I usually cut it off at about 10 because I have to get up super early in the morning and go to work. Because I'm not, in fact, independently wealthy and actually have to have a real job. Now, if there's a place to mess up your edge highlights, it's right here on the bottom of the mini where no one's going to see. Fortunately, I work from home, but I do travel a bit for work as well. I used to have a, somewhat travel job, but that was many moons ago. Used to do cool things like install supercomputers for the Department of Energy in Pacific Northwest National Laboratories. But unfortunately, that sales, so my brain is slowly deteriorating. Well, that's why you gotta keep painting minis. Keep your brain sharp. The one near Oak Ridge. I worked on a server cluster out there too. To go out there, you have to watch these safety videos on various alarms that may go off while you're there. And there's one that's basically crouch down, stick your head between your knees, and kiss your butt goodbye because there is a nuclear meltdown happening and you are screwed. Fortunately, at my time there, working on that server cluster, I did not hear that alarm. But here's the kicker, you hear that, oh, I used to, build and maintain servers and supercomputers and clusters at, national laboratories. What do I do now? I deliver car parts. So I lived out there for a bit. It was just down the street from it all. Yep. Nope, I never got my magic $100,000 piece of paper that says I know what I'm doing, so couldn't transfer jobs to stay in IT. Love it when I'm painting a mini and see a spot that I completely missed painting. Like, dang it! I gotta go back to it, back to the previous color, get it on there real quick so I can move forward. But that's why wet palettes are so nice. It keeps that little bit of all the colors that you're using nice and wet, so just rinse out your brush, grab some, and smear it on the mini real quick. Almost exclusively Citadel paints. Like, almost everything I have is Citadel. I have been experimenting with other paints. I just got a bottle of Pro Acryl Titanium White. I've got a couple of bottles of Army Painter, mostly to try out some of their speed paints. Because if I ever do get to the point where I can feel comfortable trying to do a commission, I think speed painting and slap chop is the way to go to get some quick armies done. I probably wouldn't do anything super detailed in that department for quite some time. But currently, I paint minis for myself. Mostly because I want to get, I want to be able to play the tabletop again. I played, probably 12, 15 years ago, something like that, during 5th edition. Played Necrons, got quite a few Necrons that I keep saying I'm going to take pictures of and get them posted on TikTok or whatever, and then never do. They just sit in their army carrier. But one of these days I will drag them out, take pictures, get them posted so people can see what I did with those original models from 5th edition when your unit choice was very, very limited. Like back then, all you had was race, destroyers, flayed ones, warriors, something called pariahs that nobody ever used, tomb spiders, monoliths, Necron Lord, and that was pretty much it. My first go at 40k or any mini tabletop game went Blood Angels. A lot of people do. They got some cool lore. They've got some cool minis. The Emperor's Champion mini for Black Templars is basically what sealed the deal for me doing a Templar army, because that mini is just way too cool. Yep, Dante is going to be the deciding factor for a lot of folks. All right. Sitting here looking at all this and looked at the bottom like I completely missed that. So haven't done any edge highlights down there on this little back section. So back to the Dark Reaper. Fortunately, I have enough still on my wet palette to hit those. And once I get done with these few little lines, it's spin around the mini and start catching rivets with some Stormhost Silver. And do some little touch-ups where I blew out my edge highlights. The red dot is back. Paint over it. Tired of seeing this red dot on my mini. I had this random fleck of red paint that will randomly appear on my mini while I'm painting it. It's super frustrating. Like, I don't know where it came from. Don't know why it keeps appearing. But it just happens. But it is also 10 o'clock, so I'm going to finish up the edge highlights, and then that's probably going to be it for the evening. Like I said, I have to go to work in the morning. Otherwise, I will be permanently poor and won't be able to afford my internet bill and can't stream painting Warhammer minis for your enjoyment. man. Just wiped a massive edge highlight blowout on there. That's always fun. Especially right under that Crusade seal. Have to fix that real quick. Half of painting minis is going back and painting over your mistakes. Now we'll hit these couple of touch-ups real quick. Almost done. Edge highlight. There. There. There we go. Oh, thank you, Josani, for the rose. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in. All right. Quickly rinse this out. Now next time we'll just have some little rivets and details to do, and then our sarcophagus section should be complete. Definitely happy with what we got done tonight. But it has been a fun 3 hours of painting, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and we have to get some sleep. But here it is on the legs. But we will be back on Thursday from around 7 to 10 p.m. Hopefully you guys come back. So that's the usual schedule. Yep, same here. Enjoyed it tonight. Thank you for coming in. So 7 to 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays is usually my hobby time or video game time. If you're interested in watching a D&D campaign, I've got a group of friends. We're running Rime of the Frost Maiden right now, so that's Monday nights, 7:30 to 10 p.m. So if you're interested in any of that, follow me on Twitch or YouTube or TikTok, wherever you're watching. D&D stays on Twitch and YouTube. I haven't found a good way to do it on TikTok, but that's where we'll be and what time we'll be there. So Monday 7:30 to 10 p.m, Tuesdays and Thursdays 7 to 10 p.m, right everywhere you're watching. So hope to see you guys again. Thank you so much for coming by. Had a great time tonight, and we will see you next time.